All right, let's get it going. The webcast this morning. Welcome to the big show, the Monday edition of the Manufactured Home Show Live. My name is Mike. Welcome to the show. Brought to you by manufacturedhomemart.com. Not, uh, what was it? Mutual of Omaha. Excuse me. I almost forgot Mutual of Omaha there. It's still morning where I am because this is a morning show. It's a wacky morning zoo. So good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me today for the big webcast. Once again, brought to you by manufacturedhomemart.com. And got a whole lot of stuff to get to this morning. But before we get to the really good stuff, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope it was happy and safe. For me, as always, it combined good and bad with a little bit of drama. Or maybe a lot of drama, depending on who you ask. But anyway, let's go. Yesterday was Palm Sunday. Now, even if you're not a Christian, you can appreciate this. Sometimes I share with you my daily word, even if you're not Christian. Still has a good message. There's a lot of Jesus talk in this one, but just bear with me. I want to share this with you because I love it. And this is what I endeavor to do with the Manufactured Home Show as well, and the webcasting. So the topic today is honor, and it says, "In word and deed, I honor the Christ of my being." So let me go through today's word really fast for you. Jesus attracted a crowd wherever he went as people sought to honor and learn from this master teacher, gentle healer, and peacemaker. How do I honor and learn from the Christ of my being? Today I acknowledge the wisdom of the Christ that guides me in making healthy choices and loving decisions. I look in the mirror and smile. I cherish the body that carries my Christ light into the world. God has sent me to be a teacher, healer, and a peacemaker. I reach out to others and see the ways I am beneficial. Oh, excuse me. I messed up there. I reach out to others and see the ways I am beneficial. I am a beneficial presence in the world. I messed that up twice. With songs of praise, words of thanksgiving, and acts of love, I honor the Christ of my being. Sorry for train wrecking the end of that. It's really beautiful, though. And the scripture reading is particularly great. I love this. And yesterday was Palm Sunday, once again. They took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord." John 12 and 13. If you're not Christian, that's okay. You know, this is a very open-minded show. I am, so oh, there's a pen. You know, in my whole household, this is the only pen because I searched high and low. My children, my wife, and whoever else comes into my space has taken every single pen, and underneath my printer, boom, there's one. Miracle. So anyway, what I was saying is I know I interject a little bit of my belief in there, but I think it's healthy stuff and good stuff, so I like to share it with you. And besides, like I always say, it's my show and I can do whatever I want. You don't have to tune in. Especially to the next part that the top of the show, usually I go with headline news, the current events, that type of stuff. And I may get a little, I don't get racy because this is a family show. I keep it 100% clean on this. So, but the opinions that I put out there sometimes might be a little bit strong. Now, let's go into the news, okay? Because this is great stuff. How do I want to do this? All right, I'm going to change the order. Just real quick, I wanted to make a quick comment about the guys, the air traffic controllers. Would you please stay awake? Please. You have a job to do. How in the hell, I talked about this before, how can you fall asleep if you have a stressful job? If your job is to make sure people don't die, how can you fall asleep? And I guess it's common practice. I was reading this article yesterday. I think it was Associated Press. I don't know. was saying that it's commonplace for like one guy to watch over the other guy's stuff. So he's watching two things while the dude sleeps. So one guy sleeps and then one guy watches, two sets of stuff of planes. I don't know. I would imagine that the stuff is relatively complicated, but maybe not because they can fall asleep. Apparently, any schmo can do this. So hire some people that are going to take it serious. The FAA has got egg on their face big time. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sick of the air traffic controllers. It's like 5 times in 1 month we've heard about this. The latest one was Miami, and that's ridiculous. I hope they can get a handle on it. I personally would be afraid to fly, and I feel very, very happy that I don't have to fly anywhere. I'm pretty stationary. Makes me more afraid to drive. Okay, so that was that. I was going to comment on that. And then really quickly, I think I will go ahead and mention a hero, an Arizona hero, Pat Tillman. Those of you who don't know who Pat Tillman is, just Google him. Okay, I don't have time to explain it to you right now. But Pat's run was Saturday here in town, Tempe. And I want to congratulate everybody that participated in that. And I want to encourage people to encourage things that are founded in Pat Tillman's name. Particularly, you can go to patsrun.com. Lots of ways that you can help. And Pat Tillman's got like scholarships set up and stuff to help young people coming up. So I want to plug everything that has to do with a true American hero and very close to the hearts of many Arizonans, Pat Tillman, and patsrun.com, everybody. That was over the weekend, so way to go. All right, now, I was actually going to do this first, but I reversed the order. Let me get to what I wanted to talk about. The other day on the webcast, I was talking about how the two-party system, meaning the Democrats and Republicans, is bad. Okay, I said that maybe we should, get away from that, make it departure. Well, look at this. On Sunday, I pick up the Arizona Republic newspaper, which I only read the paper on Sunday because, well, that's the only day that I get. And the rest of my news comes from the internet or television. But anyway, the very, very top of the Arizona Republic. Yeah, you can see this. See the very top? Ditch the two-party system, ? In viewpoints, B10. I just said this very same thing on the webcast, so I wanted to address it. Wow, this is major news, what the manufactured home show comes up with. So then I go to it. I'm like, wow, who in Viewpoints decided to write an article about is it time to toss the two-party system? And it turns out, this is great, the guy who wrote the article is Paul Johnson, the ex-mayor of Phoenix, who was a Democrat, but I guess now he's an independent. Anyway, he's the guy who wrote this article, and it's entitled, it says it's a statement, it's time to toss the two-party system. And it's an excellent, excellent article, and it motivated me in a way that I haven't been motivated before. And I am going to, and at the very end of this whole thing, it's an invitation to contact and do something. And I am going to contact Paul Johnson, and I do want to see what I can do to advance independence. Now, let me try to paraphrase, okay? Because I don't want to read this whole article because it's pretty long. But basically, he's talking about how, we're in danger and the partisan thing and basically the extremists, because a very small part of the population votes. And then, you got to get to be the Republican or Democratic nominee, you got to get elected in the primary. So you got this small group of people that makes it happen. So anyway, what Paul Johnson is saying is, let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me just go to this part. I'm reading now from his article. America's greatest challenge to the preservation of liberty is to ensure our place in the world economic system. To this end, America needs to make things again. produce goods, export products, and reduce our dependency on foreign oil. We will only maintain our military might if we maintain our economic might, which is exactly right. This centrist goal is easily sacrificed by party purists whose only goal is to gain or maintain power. And then he goes on to cite specific examples about the Republicans and Democrats doing that. And I think that, well, I don't think we all know it, but I believe that people are starting to realize that the government is no longer for us whatsoever, but they are for themselves and their constituents, people who line their pockets. It's all become big business and corporate hubbub. And people are finally starting to notice it, but we're like, well, we feel like we're powerless to do something about it. Well, that's not true. We are powerful. And as a matter of fact, here in Arizona, shows a little graph about without any kind of organized movement, the independent is rising almost, this is voter registration in Arizona. It is almost right on with the Democrats, which is actually within, geez, what, couple 100,000? What is the name of the, yeah, not even. Less than 100,000 voters in the state of Arizona. And that's the difference between Republican to independent. So without any organization, without anything, we've got voters in Arizona that are registering as independents. This is actually huge, and it really shows how people are starting to recognize how messed up the two-party system is. Well, anyway, I don't know if this is available on azcentral.com. The guy's name is Paul Johnson. He's the ex-mayor of Phoenix. If you get time, you definitely should read this article. The whole thing is excellent. I can't read the whole thing because I think I'll bore everybody to death. Let me take another excerpt real quick because I highlighted a couple things. He says, we will not change human nature, but if we change state and federal elections to a system more like our nonpartisan city elections, we will change behavior and thus outcomes. In partisan elections, candidates appeal to narrow groups of voters in the same party. Yeah, that's how I was explaining earlier. He goes on to talk about that. And in a city election, the candidates have to run in a general election, and then the top two, then they face each other in a runoff. Candidates are affected by who they talk to. Anyway, it's basically saying that our federal and state elections currently subsidize partisan primaries, and at least one of the parties has suggested it plans to sue to keep independents from being able to vote in its primary. As independents are quickly becoming the majority party, this subsidy is not justifiable. Amen. Anyway, I know a lot of this has to do with Arizona, but I'm sure there's got to be something going on, maybe even beyond Arizona. If you're interested in this, and a lot of you will know Paul Johnson if you're from Phoenix, it's opengovernment2012@gmail.com. That's the email. And I'm going to send an email because I want to, I think that an independent party, whether it's organized or not, I guess organization is good, but you know, with independence, you know, you could weigh right, weigh left. I don't know. It might be hard to get some kind of consensus in the independent party too. But anyway, I wanted to say that I just referenced that in my webcast, Paul Johnson. When I send you an email, I'll send you a clip of the part where I was talking about it. I just was talking about it. Okay, let's get off of that anyway. I do want to reiterate, okay, if you believe in your Republican guys or Democratic candidates, or you like what they stand for, it's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, that's America. But it's my opinion, like I said before, and obviously the opinion of Paul Johnson now, who actually gives some credibility to what I was saying because I'm just some schmo, and he is an ex-mayor. But to me, I definitely see the two-party system as damaging, particularly these two parties. I mean, if somebody was doing something good for the people, it might be different. But I think finally people are noticing that these guys are corrupt and they're up to no good and they just want to be in power. And it's just so much about keeping the American people under wraps. That's over with. Take a strong look at a guy named Ron Paul. He's a little guy and he's from Texas. Now, a lot of the things that he says may be too shocking for you, or maybe you can't handle it, so maybe he's not for you. But I think he's a Republican actually, or maybe he's gone back and forth from independent. But I think right now he's Republican. But that little guy's got some good views. We'll have to watch for him in the presidential election of 2012. He may run. I have interest in that guy, Ron Paul. Okay, let's move on. Let's hit the manufactured home section of what we're going to do. And as we prepare to do that, let's do the plug. ManufacturedHomeMart.com, the premier online store for manufactured housing. Go there right now. Well, after the show, go there. Check it out. ManufacturedHomeMart.com. Buying and selling manufactured homes, advertising your business, manufactured home related stuff. Now, let's get to the manufactured home topics. Woo! And you know, it is getting interesting in the manufactured home world. You know, a lot of times I think that it's just kind of dead and nothing happening. But you know what? People are fighting with each other, and that's always interesting. So I thought I'd bring it to light, and once again, I have to give props to MHMSM.com for providing this bit of news that I'm going to share with you guys right here. Basically, you may have heard this on the last show I was talking about, the IBIS World Report that was talking about manufactured home retailers as a dying industry. And then, so this really upset a lot of people in the manufactured housing industry, as you might imagine. In the last webcast, I said that I read the report, which I did. And for the most part, I thought it was pretty much on the money. But some people got bent out of shape. But once again, I think I want to call for calm if there is any, uppityness going on. I mean, who really cares what they say? I mean, it doesn't matter. We've got to take the reins of this thing ourselves. Those of us who are involved in the industry, those of us that do have a voice, like me, which I am. By the way, let me go ahead and toot my own horn one more time. This is the manufactured housing industry's only webcast, the only live webcast, and I'm very proud of that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to this story. So that's the background of it. There's this report, and then, some people are upset. But what I really find interesting is, and this has been an ongoing thing for a while, but I'm new to getting involved with the national scale stuff and trying to maybe understand, what the dynamics are. But the more and more I've been getting into it during the course of the last year, really since I started first iMobileHome.net and now ManufacturedHomeMart.com, I'd say for the last year or so is when I really started paying more attention to what's happening, maybe in what you would call political level, or in the industry, things happening with the association, so on and so forth, on a national level. So what we've got here, and it's actually quite entertaining, you've got Thayer Long, who is one of the head guys at MHI, and then you got Danny Gurbani, and it seems to me like these two guys don't like each other. And let me read for you here what is being said. Here at the very end of this thing, Thayer is I think he is sharing thoughts in regards to maybe that report, and he's saying a couple things to Danny Gurbani of MHARR. So this is the quote. This is from MHMSM.com. Thanks again, guys. It is a, quote, it is a dying industry if, oh my God, Mike, you got to forgive me, it is the morning. Let's start again. This is Thayer Long's comment, MHI. If it is a dying industry, then okay, then I guess I quit. And it sounds like he's being sarcastic there. And if Danny, meaning Danny Gorbani, wants to blame it on us, MHI, okay, what else is new? I am still struggling to figure out what Danny Gorbani is doing right now. Name one thing that he has accomplished in the past 3 years. What has he accomplished? I would love for you to think about that and get back to me. What has he accomplished? 3 times he asked that. We, MHI, win and lose some battles, but at least we try. We have accomplished some things except MHARR, nothing. I'm not, it's like it's not a crazy statement, but like a lot of things are sort of veiled and some is unveiled, but that's quite a statement from our man Thayer Long there. He's not too happy, I guess, with Danny here. Now, going back to Danny Gorbani had some comments that he made to MHMSM by telephone, and he was saying that, and this was his opinion, that the report represented the failure of the post-production sector of the industry, meaning MHI, serving that segment of its membership. Okay, I need to find out what the official MHARR position is, because it says that there is official MHARR position. It says here that the articles called for the post-production segments of the manufactured housing industry to form their own national association. A thinly veiled vote of no confidence from MHARR towards MHI. So we've got our trade associations that don't like each other, and this is not good for our industry either. I think that there's a lot of things that need to shake out right now in a short amount of time, because sort of this infighting gets us absolutely nowhere. Then we got this issue with HUD, the Department of Energy, so on and so forth. People are placing blame and passing the buck. It's got to stop, folks. I mean, for what it's worth, we need to get on the same page. I don't know if that can happen. And so, to be honest, I mean, our industry is it's very interesting, I think, where we are. And this is my opinion. Mike Eckert, manufacturedhomemart.com. Thank you. Listen, it's a critical time, because right now the playing field has just about been leveled for us, okay? Where we do have an opportunity to jump in with the recovery, because there is going to be a recovery. It's just taking a long time, and it is, and that's good for us, I think, because like I said last week, we don't have our act together right now. But if we could get our act together and make a push and get into the mainstream of housing, we will sell many more units than 50,000, maybe many more units than 500,000 at our peak back in the 90s or early 2000s, whatever it was, when we were making a lot of shipments. And I'm talking about new manufactured housing. But there is a rich opportunity for us right now to get in there. And the people who, well, mostly it's up to the leadership, but just like I was talking about before, you know, the people have a voice too. And so people like me and this show, normally I will invite people to call in, but lately I've sort of been putting the nix on that. We'll bring it back. But we all can have a voice. And feel free to use my forum for that as well, manufacturedhomemart.com. I think that we will be making a lot of different transitions, not just being a listing site. I think that we are evolving into something more than that as well. So I really want to invite professionals to sound off, people within the industry, even if maybe you're on the periphery there and you got some feedback you want to weigh in. Glad to hear it. But like I said, it is an historic opportunity to sort of get on the ball and get some real success and finally like shatter that old mold of trailers and mobile homes and get into something that has a really bright future. In the same breath, we are teetering on the fence because we might fall by the wayside, quite honestly, because what I see is an industry that is in trouble. And I'm being frank with everybody today. I've turned no, this is not a new leaf. It's not a new leaf. It's just that, well, it's a webcast and I think that the viewpoints have to be strong. So it's very possible that we could just completely fall flat on our face because we're not making the right moves. We're infighting against each other. The economy is bad. There's all kinds of factors that are working against us. So I think just it's 50-50 whether we die completely. And I don't care what Berkshire Hathaway or uh, anybody says. The whole thing could just go kaplooey dead, okay? Or it really could go big time. I guess it could quite honestly, I don't see us going along with the status quo. Like if we just maintain this mediocrity, we're not gonna make it. I think it'll just go away because we're having such a very hard time. So everybody put your thinking caps on, put your best foot forward. Um, let's all try to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Everybody certainly isn't going to share the same viewpoints or the same opinions, and that's okay. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us America a great place. We show respect for each other. However, we got to get things done. So there has to be a spirit of compromise too, and I'm all for that. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm sorry, everybody. My God, what a long rambling webcast today. Listen, I had a lot to say. I was saving it all up from the weekend, and there was a lot to get out. So, manufactured housing industry, we have an opportunity to really succeed or just down the toilet. So, let's get on the stick, everybody. ManufacturedHomeMart.com is here to help, is here to promote your business, here to get things going. We are on the map in 2011, and it's just going to get bigger and better from here. You can take that to the bank. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday, same time. Have a great day. Thanks.